Before the lights go out, before the grid fails, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because the information we are discussing today is the kind that doesn't just save your life, it saves your soul from the crushing weight of naivety. Now picture this. It has been 72 hours since the power grid collapsed. The silence in your neighborhood is heavy, pressing against your eardrums like deep water. The streetlights are dead. The hum of the distant highway is gone, and the only sound is the wind rattling a loose gutter. You are sitting in your living room, staring at a door that feels less like a barrier and more like a thin sheet of plywood between you and the end of the world. You have food, you have water, and you have weapons, but you are terrified, not of the starvation, not of the cold, but of the knock at the door. It's your neighbor, the one you waved to every morning for 5 years. But the man standing on your porch isn't the guy who borrowed your lawnmower. His eyes are hollow, his stance is aggressive, and the social contract that kept him polite has evaporated along with the electricity. The single greatest misconception in modern survival is the belief that in a crisis, your community will naturally come together, link arms, and sing songs around a campfire. That is a dangerous, potentially fatal fantasy. The reality is that when the system breaks, the good neighbor myth dies instantly. People do not rise to the occasion. They sink to the level of their training and their desperation. Without the fear of police or the comfort of a paycheck, the people around you will undergo a rapid psychological deterioration into predatory archetypes. Your home is no longer just a shelter from the rain. It is a fortress against the unpredictability of the human animal. Today, we are going to strip away that dangerous optimism. We are going to take the common household items you ignore every day, a window blind, a cardboard box, a PVC pipe, and use them to build a psychological and physical defense system. We are going to turn you from a victim waiting to be rescued into a profiler who controls the chaotic variable of human nature. The first phase of securing your perimeter has nothing to do with barbed wire and everything to do with behavioral triage. You need to stop looking at your neighbors as friends and start viewing them as data points. The tool here is your front window blinds or curtains, but the action is a shift in observation. You are looking for the hollow man. This is the neighbor who was unprepared, the one who lived paycheck to paycheck and has no emotional resilience. In a normal world, he is harmless. In a collapse, he is a powder keg of despair. Watch for the neighbor who is pacing erratically in his yard, shouting at family members, or sitting motionless on his porch for hours. This isn't just sadness. This is the breakdown of executive function. The science here is that despair overrides logic. A man who feels he has already lost everything becomes capable of infinite violence because he perceives no consequences. Your expert edge is to identify the hollow man early and ensure your house looks completely unappealing to him. He is looking for a savior or a victim. Do not let him see either. Next, you need to identify the operator. This is the predator who thrives in chaos. He isn't broken, he is liberated. To spot him, you need to look at body language. While the hollow man is erratic, the operator is calculated. Look for the neighbor who is suddenly wearing tactical gear they've never shown before, or who is walking the perimeter of the neighborhood with a sense of ownership. He isn't scanning for threats, he is scanning for assets. He is assessing your home, not as a neighbor, but as a tactician. When you see this behavior, your action is to engage in gray rock visibility. You do not challenge him, and you do not cower. You become boring. You become a non-entity. The psychology here is dominance. The operator wants to control resources and people. If you present yourself as a threat, he will plan to neutralize you. If you present yourself as weak, he will plan to enslave you. You must present yourself as empty. The most dangerous threat you will face is the smiling predator. This is the person who uses the memory of the old world to infiltrate your new one. The tool to identify them is the conversation itself. When a neighbor approaches your fence line smiling, asking how you are holding up, You need to listen for the inventory interrogation. They will mask their probing questions with concern. Do you guys have enough milk for the baby? Is your generator running okay? These are not acts of kindness. They are intel gathering. The action here is to deploy the information trap. Never answer a question directly. If they ask about food, you tell them you're down to your last bag of rice and you're worried. Watch their eyes. A true friend will offer help. A smiling predator will register that you are of no value to them and move on, or they will offer a small, low value item to try and buy their way into your trust. The expert edge is to understand that in a collapse, trust is a currency that is too expensive to spend. You must lie to survive. Now that you have profiled the threats, you must physically alter the narrative of your home using the poverty camouflage protocol. The object here is your own trash and exterior clutter. Your instinct is to keep your home tidy and organized to maintain a sense of control. You must fight that instinct. The action is to curate a visual story of looting. Take the trash from your bin, empty cans, torn cardboard, broken plastic, and scatter it across your driveway and porch. Leave a window on the ground floor, slightly ajar, but boarded up from the inside, suggesting it was already breached. The psychology is simple. Predators follow the path of least resistance and highest reward. If your house looks like a picked carcass, the operator and the hollow man will bypass it for the house down the street that looks pristine and locked down. You are using their own greed against them. A pristine house screams, there are supplies inside worth protecting. A wrecked house screams, someone already took everything. Defeating the smiling predator requires a more subtle tool, the decoy stockpile. This method utilizes a standard cardboard box or a plastic tote placed visibly just inside your front door or in the garage. The action is to fill this box with low-value, bulky items, old blankets, half-empty bottles of water, a few cans of expired food, and maybe some medical gauze. If a situation escalates and you are forced to interact with a group demanding tribute, or if someone forces their way past the threshold, you point to that box. You say with genuine fear in your voice, that's all we have left, take it. The science behind this is the satiation of the looting instinct. A looter is running on adrenaline and fear. They want a quick win so they can leave. By giving them a physical object to carry away, you validate their dominance and give them a reason to retreat. If you say you have nothing, they will tear your house apart to prove you wrong. If you give them the decoy, they feel they have won. However, for the supplies that actually keep you alive, you need decentralized logistics. The object here is PVC pipe and end caps from your local hardware store. The action is to create burial caches. You cannot keep all your eggs in one basket, and you certainly cannot keep all your food in the pantry. Fill these pipes with rice, beans, batteries, and silver coins. Seal them with PVC cement and bury them in your backyard, under the floorboards of a shed, or even in the soil of large indoor planters. The magic of this method is that it renders a home invasion survivable, even if the operator breaches your door. Even if the hollow man burns your house down, they cannot take what they cannot find. This shifts your psychology from fear of loss to the confidence of redundancy. You know that no matter what happened to the structure of the house, your lifeline is secure. The expert edge is to map these locations physically on paper, never digitally, and hide the map separately. Let's talk about the specific mechanics of your front door interaction, which is where the calculated de-escalation comes into play. The object is your voice and your physical positioning. When someone knocks, never open the door, speak through it. If you must open it, leave the chain on or block it with a heavy wedge. Your tone should not be aggressive, which invites a challenge, nor pleading, which invites predation. It must be the flat, uninteresting tone of a bureaucrat. You are setting a boundary. We are sick in here. We are not opening the door. Go away. Use the fear of disease, the biohazard deterrent. In a grid-down scenario, a simple infection kills. If you imply that your house is a sick house, you trigger a primal revulsion in the predator. They might want your food, but they do not want your dysentery or flu. This invisible barrier is often stronger than the wood of the door itself. Finally, you need to employ the canary trap for anyone you have tentatively allowed into your circle. The object is a specific piece of false information. If you have a neighbor you are starting to trust, tell them a specific secret that isn't true. Tell them, I think I saw a military truck parked 3 streets over, or I have a stash of antibiotics hidden in the garage. Then, wait, if that information comes back to you from a third party, or if you see the smiling predator suddenly interested in your garage, you know the leak. The action is immediate exclusion. The psychology here is testing integrity before the stakes are lethal. You are vetting your squad. A leak in the hull of a ship sinks everyone. You must find the hole and patch it before the storm hits. The philosophy you are building here is one where resourcefulness outranks gear and psychology outranks ballistics. You can have 1,000 rounds of ammunition, but if you let the smiling predator into your living room because he brought you a fruitcake, you are dead. If you engage the hollow man in a shouting match, you are dead. If you look like a rich target to the operator, you are dead. Survival is not about being the strongest. It is about being the most adaptable. It is about understanding that the rules of the old world are gone, and holding onto them will only drag you down. You are accepting the harsh reality that to protect your family, you must become a mirror that reflects the predator's worst assumptions back at them. Let's return to that living room. The wind is still rattling the gutter. The silence is still heavy. But now, when you look at the window, you aren't just seeing the dark. You are watching the shadows with the eyes of a hunter. You see the neighbor pacing, and you know to stay dark. You hear the knock at the door, and you know exactly what lie to tell. You are no longer a victim waiting for the lights to come back on. You are the master of your domain, the gatekeeper who decides who enters and who is turned away. The fear is gone, replaced by a cold, sharp resolve. You have secured the bones of your house, but more importantly, you have hardened the resolve in your mind. The grid may be down, but you are fully online. Now, I want you to go to the comments section and tell me which of the 3 archetypes, the hollow man, the operator, or the smiling predator, do you think is the biggest threat in your neighborhood, and why? Drop your answer below, hit that like button, and stay ready.